Hi, everyone, and welcome to That's So Auburn. I'm Auburn's Mayor Nancy Backus, and I am honored that you chose to listen in today. And you know, there are so many reasons that I love our city, from the rich history to the beautiful landmarks. There's a lot to be proud of. But what I love most is the people. I believe that Auburn is home to some of the best people in the world. It's what makes our community so very special. And I'm excited to be joined by two guests today that I feel embody our city's story of resilience, hope, and definitely a bright future. I hope hearing from them today will fill you with even more pride for our city. So let's get started. Please help me give a warm welcome to our two guests today, Miss Auburn 2022, Carrie Everett, and Miss Auburn's Outstanding Teen 2022, Alexis Douglas. Hello, Carrie and Alexis, and welcome to the podcast.
Hello, everyone. I'm Carrie Everett.
Hello, everyone. I'm Alexis Douglas. Thank you so much for having us today.
Well, I'm really excited that you're both here and to have our listeners hear more about your story and the wonderful work that you're doing in the community. But before we jump into all of that, please tell our listeners a little bit about yourselves. Carrie, why don't you go first?
Well, my name is Carrie Everett. Sorry for the voice. I'm a senior at Auburn Mountain View High School currently. I'm also senior class president there. I play the cello. I'm an athlete. I sing and I compose music. I've been competing in pageants since 2019, or the Miss America organization since 2019, and I'm finally Miss Auburn, so I'm just glad to be here.
Well, we're excited to have you here. And Alexis, give us a little bit of the Alexis story.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alexis Douglas. I'm currently a sophomore at Bellarmine Prep in Tacoma. I currently live in Lakewood, but I am a big fan of the Auburn community. This was my first year competing in the program, but I've been involved since forever, watching it and just admiring it from afar. So I'm very, very happy to be here. I'm very happy to be Miss Auburn's Outstanding Teen. I'm very happy to be a part of this program.
Well, Alexis, thank you. It feels like you've been part of Auburn. I've known you since you were just a tiny baby, and so you are Auburn to all of us, especially to me. So I've got some questions for you, and before we start those, people are probably wondering, what's the difference between being a Miss Auburn and a Miss Auburn's Outstanding Teen? So, Carrie, tell us a little bit about what the requirements are for being in the Miss Auburn program. And then, Alexis, if you want to tell us what the requirements are for Miss Auburn's Outstanding Teen, people will understand a little bit better why we have two representatives in the community. And then we'll get into some of the questions about each of you.
Well, I competed as a teen prior to competing as Miss Auburn or competing for Miss Auburn. And as a teen, we have all the same categories, kind of, except with Miss, you have social impact initiative on stage, and you don't do a fitness routine. And I love that.
And what are the age requirements, Carrie?
Well, they kind of changed the rules a little bit. I competed when I was 17 and turned 18, and according to the current rules that are put in place for this year, that's allowed, but upcoming in the next year, you have to be 19 to compete in the Miss category.
19, okay. And Alexis, tell us a little bit about the teen side of things.
So the teen side, there is talent, fitness, on-stage question, evening gown, basically a lot of the phases the Miss have. I will say the one difference for me personally is I get to look up to Carrie as my Miss, so you get an amazing role model, but I feel like the difference is that for the teen program, you're really appealing to a younger audience, kind of getting connected with the teens, and the age requirement for that is 13 to 17. So you really are trying to appeal to a younger audience of elementary kids through high school, not really looking to appeal to the adult audience. It is important to connect with them, but it's basically just appealing to a younger audience.
So it's being that role model for younger people in our community.
Yeah, definitely.
Excellent. All right, well, let's get to some of the questions. So, Carrie, we'll start with you. What motivated you to represent our city as Miss Auburn? And then why was that so important to you?
Well, I wanted to be Miss Auburn because I know the Auburn community has so many opportunities for growth as well as change. People in Auburn are so willing to give all the time, and I recognize that, and I wanted to make that gap bridge. Like, let's fix things. Let's work towards our goals here. We have the opportunity. We have the ability. So I just wanted to take that leadership role and hopefully implement different changes.
How did you find out about the Miss Auburn program?
Well, I found out through my Sparkle's mom. My Sparkle in my first year competing, her name was Eden Lemansky, and her mother originally wanted my sister to compete because she was a senior at that time and she needed the scholarship money, but my sister said she had no talent, so I was the second option. But I competed and I got first runner-up, and I was encouraged to compete again, and I even competed at Miss Washington's Outstanding Teen as an open contestant. And it really helped me grow, and it built my confidence and changed the way I act. And I just feel a lot greater now that I've competed. I have so many more opportunities, and I'm able to speak to more people and reach more people.
Excellent. And Alexis, how about you? What motivated you to represent Auburn?
So my sister was Miss Auburn's Outstanding Teen a couple years back, and
I do remember her.
Yes. I kind of followed her along for a lot of the things that she did as Miss Auburn's Outstanding Teen, and that was kind of when I fell in love with the program. Getting to watch her be a role model to a bunch of younger, just basically younger audience, but just be able to do a lot of events as Miss Auburn's Outstanding Teen. I've always wished to be Miss Auburn's Outstanding Teen, and didn't sure whether or not the time was right, but I just decided to give it a shot because I love the community and I love the program, and I decided for me it wasn't about the crown. I'm very happy I won. I will say I was very shocked when I did win, but basically, I really wanted to see that growth that I saw in my sister, and that's why I chose to compete.
Excellent. Well, I have to say, since I was the MC that night, I got to find out who the winner was, who was named Miss Auburn and Miss Auburn's Outstanding Teen before anyone in the audience did, and that was really an exciting moment for me because I was so pleased that the two of you were announced. I have seen the growth in both of you over the years, and I'm just so proud that you have decided you wanted to represent and serve in Auburn. I think we are a much better place because of your dedication and your willingness to serve. So I have your resumes and your social impact statements in front of me, and you are both, as I already know, but the audience doesn't, quite accomplished in your fairly short, relative to my short life, and I'm just amazed at how much you have packed into your years. So what advice would you share with young people who are looking to get involved in their community but just aren't really sure where to start? Alexis?
I would just say try to choose wherever you want to get involved. Try to choose something that you're personally really passionate about. I think it's important that if you are looking to serve the community, you have a heart for service. You're not doing it for college credits. You're not doing it to look good in high school. You're doing it because you want to help people. You want to make sure that you can see people be the best that they can be. So if you want to serve, definitely hit me up, text me, but definitely just choose something that you're passionate about and that you really want to look to change.
Be authentic, sounds
Yes.
like is what you're saying,
Yeah.
and you can't just phone that in.
No.
Carrie, how about you? What advice would you share with young people in the community?
As an organizer, I always get asked, how do I start or where do I begin? And I always just tell people, just go for it. If you go to maybe an action or you go to a community service project, you will meet other people who can get you connections that can find different projects for you as well. Look up things on the internet, just search up different projects in your area, and you will be able to find them.
That's great. Thank you. So I'm looking at your resumes right now, and Carrie, one of the things that you have on here as an interesting fact is that you hear music in colors. Can you elaborate on that a little bit? I mean, it sounds fascinating to me, and I can envision that in my head, but what does that mean to you?
Well, it's called synesthesia, and a few great musicians have it, so I feel really connected to them, like I'm cool, kind of, but I mean...
Kind of? You're cool. You're very cool.
Ever since I was a child, like, I thought it was a normal thing to hear music in colors. I thought that's how it was for everybody, but I used to kind of categorize keys into different color categories, and as I became more well-versed in music, I kind of separated it in that way, and that's why I'm a better musician, I think, because I have certain natural ability, and I mean, the key of C is blue, D major is a yellow type of color, C is kind of like a purple blue, but all those things, it just makes music more interesting to me, and I'm able to dissect it more, and I'm able to pick up on chords just by hearing them, and as a young musician, that is a really large scale, so I'm grateful to be able to hear music in colors.
That's fascinating. I do not have that ability. I just love to listen to music, and I could not tell you if it was G, whatever the key is. I'm just fortunate that I get to hear great music. So Alexis, with you have quite a few accomplishments here. One of them is black belt in Taekwondo with 8 tournament medals. What on earth possessed you to take Taekwondo, and how long did it take you to become a black belt?
So it took around 7 to 8 years of my life. I started at a very young age, about 8, and I actually watched my sister do it for a week, and the person that was teaching her was like, "You're too young, you can't do it." And I was like, "Just give me a shot, man, I really want to do it." And so basically he let me take one class, and I fell in love, and I did it for around 7 to 8 years, and it took me a long time to get my black belt, but it is so completely worth it. And anyone who's thinking about taking martial arts, do it. I promise you, you will not regret it.
Very nice. I bet your family enjoyed the fact that you're a black belt in Taekwondo as well. That you can pretty much take care of yourself, I have no doubt. Now, it also says that you met the Jonas Brothers.
I did.
All right. How did that happen? And then tell me who's your favorite Jonas brother.
Oh, I literally cannot pick a favorite.
Really?
I have to say, it's hard. I will say I've always had a little crush on Nick. Nick, yeah.
Did you say Nick as well, Carrie?
Yeah.
All right.
We're twinning, but it's but yeah, basically from my work with Seattle Children's and working with my social impact initiative, one day I was called by a radio show, and they were like, "Hey, is this Alexis?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Well, we want to give you tickets to the Jonas Brothers concert for all of the work that you've done with Seattle Children's." Nice. And so it was a great experience for me. I got to take one of my best friends along with me, and my sister and my mom, and it was just an amazing experience just to be able to get the payoff for something that I've worked really hard to do.
Wow. That is... I know. Nobody has ever called me on the phone and said, "Hey, I want to give you tickets to see the Jonas Brothers." I did take my daughter to see them when they were at the fair several years ago. That was that was when they were the young set. Now they are more mature, and they have, I think, a wider audience, but they've always been great musicians. And I wonder if they see in color, if they see music in color, Carrie.
Maybe.
I think Duke Ellington is one of the main names I can name. Main names I can name. Okay.
Wow. All right. Well, so let's move on with a couple of other things. Your marketing plan. So, Carrie, as Miss Washington, and I'm looking, this is the resume that was put together for when you compete at Miss Washington. And it says, "If I become Miss Washington, I would begin by speaking to the Washington State Board of Education about implementing equity into our buildings." Tell me what you would say, and what does that mean to implement equity into the buildings?
Well, if we implement equity into the buildings, we need more curriculum changes. I do believe that a major part of the education system is the way we teach our curriculum, especially surrounding history and how we address certain things that have happened. And it would open up more room for students of color, not only students of color, but everybody to grow in their knowledge of the way the world works and how history has been and how we can change things going forward.
Great. Thank you. And Alexis, your legacy statement says, "As Miss Washington's Outstanding Teen 2022, I want to be the person to teach the importance of empathy and compassion. I want to leave my legacy as an authentic and genuine leader who shared her own experiences with cancer to help teens cope with grief and adults transform their own grief into beauty." That's quite a legacy. Tell me how you came up with that.
Going through school as a cancer survivor, I've noticed the importance of having friends that support you and support what you're going through, but not only that, but they know the right things to say when you're struggling. Recently, I've had a lot of problems with PTSD and kind of having flashbacks of certain hospital days and certain memories with cancer that I have not been very proud of and I don't want to go back to. But having a certain community at Bellarmine that really supported me, hugged me in the times where I would cry in class, that was so important to me, and it made me realize how important it is for everyone in school to have that community. So coming up with that legacy was basically just realizing how amazing I felt when I had a community that supported me and wanting to further that to every single kid in school.
Wow, that's a great legacy to want to share with others, and I have no doubt that both of you will be incredibly successful. You already are at very young ages, and I can't wait to see what you both accomplish. You're going to set the world on fire. Let's go back to a few other things here. Besides your marketing plan and your legacy, tell all of us about what you hope to accomplish if you are selected as Miss Washington and Miss Washington's Outstanding Teen. So, Carrie, let's start with you.
Well, I would like to open up a panel for people to be able to speak on a statewide level on their concerns about not only the district, but just how we discuss issues of equity. I mean, we have issues in cities, with current problems with police violence. We need to have those discussions, and we need to open up those spaces and give people the room to speak, and not only the room to speak, but then take action on the words that people are speaking and make those changes. I would also like to create a room for youth to have their voices heard specifically, because oftentimes we're overlooked and people don't really listen to us in that sense where they're saying student voice, youth voice, but are those voices actually being taken into account? So I would like to see more spaces for youth to actually be authentic in themselves and express their concerns and be listened to by their officials.
How do you think you're going to encourage people of your age who might feel that very way, that there's no reason that anyone is going to listen to them because of their age? How are you going to convince them that that's not true and that their voice is necessary?
Well, I would like to convince them by showing them that I'm there to listen to them and that their voice matters to me first and foremost. And on top of that, there are billions and billions of people that are willing to support them only if they put themselves out there. I mean, I have a bunch of support systems around me. You just have to be able to find them. And even if they don't think they have them, they probably do have them in their lives. So I would probably be that person to a lot of people, and I do not mind that because I would love to be.
So leading by example is what it sounds like you're telling me there.
Yeah.
All right. And Alexis, how about you? What do you hope to accomplish if you're selected?
Well, definitely what she said, leading by example. One of the things that I would love to accomplish is I would love to change the views of what people see as the Miss America's Outstanding Teen program. I feel like people don't really realize how beneficial it is to teens and how getting involved can literally change your life. I would love to spread my story in this organization and be able to show people that it's so much more than how you can walk in an evening gown, so much more than how much makeup you have on your face, because it's not about that. It's about your story. It's about how authentic you are, and it's about the way you carry yourself. And so I'd love to be able to change the way that a lot of people see this organization and be able to help a lot of teens get involved and see that growth that I've seen and that I've seen my sister, that I've seen in Carrie, and be able to have a lot of teens be involved and see that growth in themselves as well. So
I have been involved in the Miss Auburn Scholarship Program since 1979. Right? Long before either of you were born. And so I've seen over the course of those decades that the relevance of Miss Auburn kind of waxes and wanes, right? It kind of goes in cycles to where it's the thing to do, and then no, I don't think I'm ever interested in being in the Miss Auburn program. And so it seems to have a little bit of a resurgence now. It's gone on a few of those uphill climbs and then down in the valleys, and now it's back up again. So why do you think it feels so relevant now?
Well, I believe it's relevant now because young women need a space to not only represent themselves, but represent their communities and what they stand for. At first, I was not thinking about doing the Miss Auburn pageant because, I mean, the things I've seen about pageantry, like I didn't grow up around this organization. I didn't even know it existed prior to 2019. So I didn't really see proper examples of what this could mean to someone like me. I mean, I don't come from a background that is exactly like, we're not the wealthiest. We are first generation Americans, and I never got to see the opportunities this could provide for me. And just being able to be here and know that I'm helping my family just by existing in this space, and not only existing in this space, but representing other young women that are like me, it's very important. So I think that is all.
I think that's a lot. Yeah. How about you, Alexis?
I think it's becoming so relevant because the world needs help. this organization is creating female leaders all around the world. And I think right now we need people to get involved in the community, be role models to future leaders, and have a lot of females that can speak for themselves and can hold up in an interview with a panel of judges that the majority may be male. And I think it's important that the world has more female leaders, and right now that's what the world needs. And so this organization is so relevant because that's what the world is looking for, that's what every American's looking for, and that's what we're bringing to the table.
Outstanding. So we are getting to the end of our time together today, but I'm not ready for us to leave yet. So what one thing, Alexis, do you want everyone to know about you that might be a well-kept secret? It won't be after this, by the way, but so be careful in that, but something that you want people to know about you that they might not know.
I think that the number one thing that I'd want people to know about me is that I've struggled. And it's important to know that people who might hold a crown on their heads, people who might look like they're the most confident on stage, they've struggled. And it's okay to not be confident sometimes. It's okay to be insecure about the way your body looks. It's okay to sometimes feel like you don't deserve the title you're holding. But it's important to know that you are you. It's important to know that the people around you love you. And it's important to know that you deserve love from yourself. And so I'd love for people to just know that I've struggled, I've been there, I'm someone you can talk to, someone you can look out and feel a safe place with, and I'm not always confident sometimes. Shh, that's a secret, don't tell anyone.
I won't tell anyone.
But that doesn't make me any less of a person, that doesn't make anyone else less of a person.
I think it makes you more authentic of a person than trying to hold up to this image that you're always perfect. It's like on social media, right? Sometimes all we see are the perfect days or the perfect moments, the perfect outfits, the perfect makeup, the perfect meal, whatever that is. That perfection doesn't really exist. And if it does, it's just for a fleeting moment. But we are in this world as our authentic selves, and we're not always going to be in those Facebook moments or those selfie moments. So being able to let everyone know to be their authentic selves, that's something that a lot of people aren't easy. It's not easy for them to accept, but I think with the words from both of you, there will be a lot more people that are open to that feel good about themselves because of the type of young ladies that you are and the encouragement that you're providing and the care that you have. So, Carrie, secret that people don't know about you that you want to share?
I get my lashes from Amazon. No, I'm kidding. But I think mine is pretty similar to Alexis. I've had a lot of people tell me often that I seem confident and put together. When I tell you guys, I am a mess a lot of the time.
I'm looking at you right now. You're not a mess.
If you saw what it was before I got here. But a lot of the times I'm disorganized and I'm struggling with my mental health. And that's another thing I really think people should talk about more often is their mental health. I don't think it's really a secret per se, but it's not something I would talk about often with a lot of people. But I really struggled with my mental health and getting myself out of those dark spaces. And I think kind of similar to what Alexis says, it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to not see yourself as 100% all the time, but just know you're worthy and your existence matters. And no matter what anybody tells you, you're meant to be where you are.
Well, I don't think I could say anything to top that. So I would like to thank both of you for being here today. The future is in beautifully capable hands with the caliber of people that I am speaking with today. Carrie Everett and Alexis Douglas, thank you so much for taking time to let Auburn know who you are, your authentic selves, and best of luck in your competition at Miss Washington and Miss Washington's Outstanding Teen. Those judges have a lot of challenges on their hands, but I can tell you right now, they could make it easy on themselves and select the two of you to represent the state, and they could do no wrong in that regard. Thank you so much for being here with me today.
Thank you.
Thank you.